Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Yankees on Deck podcast. I'm your host, Matt Cunningham, and the Yankees dropped the second game of the series to the Mariners at Yankee Stadium. They lose this one tonight, 6-3. Uh, Basically, to summarize this game, it was largely a head scratcher, thanks to some of the decision making by Aaron Boone that honestly just made no sense whatsoever. We're going to break it down briefly. Really, not too much to talk about. I mean, the Yankees' offense was primarily led thanks to Gleyber Torres, who has woken up from his mostly slump hitting to start this year. He was able to connect for a 3-run home run with the Yankees down 4-0. That came in the seventh inning, and the Yankees were back in the game at that point. They were cut the deficit to 1, and it was a 4-3 game after being down 4-0. Seattle, they had their starting pitcher on the mound by the name of Brian Wu, another young, talented starting pitcher on this Mariners staff. And he was excellent against the Yankees offense. He mostly shut us down. Yeah, he did shut us down, actually. He pitched 6 shutout innings, only gave up 2 hits, had 7 strikeouts. I mean, the only runs the Yankees were able to muster was from the Gleyber Torres 3-run home run, and that wasn't even against Wu. So, I mean, Brian Wu was great for the Mariners as he's been to start this year. And Clark Schmidt got the ball for us. And if you remember his last outing, he was spectacular through 7 shutout innings, the best start of his career. He wasn't bad today, but he wasn't his best. He went 5 innings pitched, gave up 2 earned runs on 4 hits, 2 walks, did have 6 strikeouts, gave up a home run in this game. So, I mean, look, was it a magnificent start like Schmidt's last start in Minnesota? No, but he wasn't bad. It was a decent start. Only gave up 2 runs, did go 5 innings. So, I mean, aside from the Dylan Moore home run that Clark gave up, I mean, he was fine. He just got outpitched, honestly. Wu pitched better. So, yeah, I mean, that's really how you wrap it up. And the offense couldn't touch the Mariners starter, really. And, they didn't scratch across those 3 runs, so they got to the bullpen. What really aggravates me about this game is the just continued, watching and seeing of Aaron Boone just not knowing how to manage a pitching staff. It is just mind-boggling. He doesn't know how to manage a pitching staff, especially the bullpen. It's terrible. I mean, it just makes no sense because the Yankees were down 4-0 until the bottom of the 7th. That's when Gleyber Torres hit a 3-run home run with runners on first and second. And so the Yankees, down 4-0, now are back in the game. They are down 1 run at this point in the bottom of the 7th. So then we go to the 8th inning, and Aaron Boone brings in a guy named Clayton Andrews, who prior to today I haven't even heard of. Don't even know who this guy is. He brings him in. He's a lefty. He's 5'6", 160 pounds, 27 years old, left-handed pitcher who just got called up apparently. I didn't even know this. He brings him in a 1-run game in the 8th inning. And this guy, he has an over 6 ERA this year in the minor leagues. And I don't know how, but he got called up. And Yankees, I don't know. They bring him in a crucial game when we're down 1 run. It's not like this team is down still 4-0. It's 4-3. And they bring this guy in. He has a 6.60 ERA on the season thus far. He's 0-2 in 12 games. I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing? And the reason more wise this doesn't make any sense is because the Yankees had much better arms in their arsenal in the bullpen that were available tonight. I can read off the names right now. Luke Weaver was available. He only threw 6 pitches yesterday. And then the only other time he pitched was last Wednesday. He was available. Nick Birdy was available. He threw 28 pitches on Saturday. So he's had Sunday and then up to today he came in off. But yeah, for whatever reason, Aaron Boone brought him in after Clayton Andrews already gave up the run. I don't know why he just couldn't start him in the inning. So he was available. Dennis Santana was available. I mean, Caleb Ferguson as well, if you want to throw his name out there. Victor Gonzalez threw 12 pitches on last Thursday. You're not telling me he wasn't available? I mean, this crap just doesn't make any sense, man. It just doesn't make any sense. We had 3 or 4 guys in our bullpen that were available tonight. And Aaron Boone chooses Clayton Andrews in the 8th inning. I mean, come on, man. Make it make sense. And then you know what doesn't also add up? I'm going to go through this right now. So Aaron Boone brings in Clayton Andrews in the top of the 8th. He gives up a home run to Luke Raley. Now it's 5-3 Mariners. And then only after this, he then chooses to bring in Nick Birdy. When he could have just brought in Nick Birdy to start the inning. I mean, in what world does this make any sense? Okay, if we want to break it down here, okay. Dennis Santana, excuse me. He started. He pitched the 7th inning after Clark. Okay, so you use Dennis Santana, but then he brings in Clayton Andrews in the top of the 8th, gives up the home run to Luke Raley, 5-3 Mariners. Then he hits the next batter, Cal Raleigh, and then he gets Mitch Haniger on strikes out him, and then only then Aaron Boone goes to the bullpen and brings in Nick Birdy when you could have just brought him in to start the inning. I mean, this is where it doesn't make any sense. So you bring in Nick Birdy only after the damage is done when you could have brought him in to start the inning, who is actually a decent reliever, one of your weapons. But nope, let's start the inning with this freaking guy, Major League debut, Clayton Andrews, who sucks, 6 ERA. Come on, man, make it make sense. When you had Luke Weaver, Caleb Ferguson, Victor Gonzalez, 3 different guys right there that you could have gone to that were all available. Nope. This is the kind of crap Aaron Boone does. And part of the reason, honestly, that I agree with, that I've heard other Yankee fans talk about is punting games like he did in Milwaukee because he's looking 2-3 days ahead. And I'm so sick of this shit, man. We lose a heartbreaker yesterday, up 3 runs in the 9th. We need to come back and play well today and win today against a solid Mariners team, and they're unable to do that because freaking Aaron Boone is incapable of making managerial decisions, competent managerial decisions. I mean, there's just no excuse. You have those 3 guys available in your bullpen, all weapons who barely threw within the last week, and you choose to go to Clayton Andrews, who just got called up for his Major League debut and who stinks, by the way, in the minor leagues, over 6 ERA guy. That's who you choose to go to in a 1-run game in the 8th inning? Really? And I already know the answer to this. Okay, you have this BS stat, which I honestly don't even really care because this guy stinks. So Brendan Cootie, who writes for the Yankees, and I don't even want to watch the Aaron Boone press conference. I don't give a crap what he said because there's just no excuse to just the rationale. I don't want to hear it. But Brendan Cootie tweeted out how there's the stat, explanatory stat, saying in 27 plate appearances in the minors this year, lefties had a .091 slugging and .313 OPS versus Clayton Andrews. Then lefty Luke Raley homered off him on the first pitch he saw tonight. So, oh yeah, you already know what Aaron Boone said. He probably referenced that stat saying, yep, that's why I brought in Clayton Andrews because I like the lefty-lefty matchup, even though it's a 6 ERA guy. Yep, that makes a lot of sense. Okay. So I'm you know what? I don't give a crap about that stat because it's a 1-run game. I don't care. You do not bring in this guy and call quits. down 1 run. If Gleyber Torres didn't hit that home run and it's 4-0, fine. Because at 4-0 at that point, the game's probably over because the Mariners have a solid bullpen as well. But Gleyber Torres hits that home run, and for what? Comes back in the game, down now 1 run, and you bring in this guy to just give it up. It just doesn't make any sense, folks. It really doesn't. Aaron Boone is totally inept. He doesn't know how to manage a bullpen. It's we're saying the same freaking song over and over and over again. The same song that we said in Milwaukee and in Baltimore. And I'm looking at the bullpen budget chart provided by Yes Network. So this isn't coming from hyperbole. This is coming from facts. You have the chart. You have the number of pitches these guys have thrown in the last week. So you know who's available. Weaver, Birdie, Santana, who pitched prior to Andrews, and then Gonzalez. Those 3 guys, and Ferguson too. 4 guys, all available tonight. But nope. Aaron Boone, for whatever reason, the BS sabermetrics, it said bring in Clayton Andrews when we're down 1 run against a good Mariners team. Yep, that makes sense. Great job, Boone. So yeah, if you're looking for something to be pissed off about tonight, be pissed off about that. Be pissed that our manager literally punted the game away, even though Gleyber Torres brought us back down by 1 because this guy just doesn't know how to manage staff. So, yeah, I mean, we say this over and over and over again. And, yeah, that's it. And the Mariners were able to get another run. Let's see here. They got another run on a Dylan Moore home run off Nick Birdie in the top of the 9th. Make it 6-3. And then, only then Aaron Boone brings in Caleb Ferguson. Nice. So you see the pattern here, folks? You see the pattern? Only after you bring in the crappiest pitcher when you're down 1 run, and then that guy gives up a ton run. Then that guy gives up a run, and now it makes it even harder to come back in the game. Then you go to your guys that you should have started with in the first place. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, Boone. Yeah, love to hear the rationale on that one. But yeah, there's always an excuse. Always an excuse for and that it's never always thinking he's the smartest person in the room. This is what you get. It doesn't add up. It doesn't make any sense. And if you're a Yankee fan and you're watching the game tonight or you're following the game on your phone like I was, and, it doesn't make any sense. I had no idea who Clayton Andrews was when I saw that he was coming in the game. I had no idea this guy was even called up. And it's honestly kind of surprising because he stinks. So, I don't know. It doesn't make sense. And the Mariners, look, they're a good team. And it's another good test. It was a test like the Orioles were. And the Yankees lost 3 or 4 in that series. And then they face Seattle and they lose the first 2 in a 4-game set. Not great. Against 2 solid teams. And look, the Mariners, I honestly believe the Mariners are a top 10 team in baseball. Because now they're 27-22, so they're 5 games above 500, but their pitching staff is just nasty. And these next 2 games, like I've said all series long, it doesn't get any easier. Tomorrow they got to face Bryce Miller, who's just as good as Wu, if not tougher. And then they got to face, reigning Cy Young candidate, Luis Castillo, who the Yankees have been trying to get for years. He's on the Mariners. He's incredibly nasty. So this is what you got to deal with. I mean, Yankees, it's not out of the possibility that they could get swept in the series just because 4 starting pitchers for the Mariners that are all incredibly tough. So every bit of this game matters, every bit. And I don't know what Aaron Boone's doing, thinking, oh, yeah, let me manage for tomorrow because that's a rumor I've heard about him. And honestly, part of it makes sense because there's no other rationale to explain why he would do this tonight and like he's done in previous series. And you know what? You think you can win both tomorrow? Guess what? Tomorrow gets even tougher. You got to face Bryce Miller, and then you got to face Luis Castillo. Good luck. It just makes no sense, man. It really doesn't, And I know I'm being a dead horse at this point, but I bring it up and I reiterate it because it's baffling. It's just the same crap we see over and over and over again with him. And look, I understand the Yankees, the only runs they got were from the Torres home run. They didn't do anything on the scoreboard after that in the 7th. But it doesn't matter. I mean, you bring in the best that you got to try and win today. That's the point. Okay, because I've heard Yankee fans talk about that, and I hold that same sentiment, honestly, because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You don't know what's going to happen the day after that. And the rest of the series, these next two games, the Yankees are going to have to work their ass off to win these next two games. It's not going to be something like, oh, okay, well, we lost the first two, but the next two, one of the games or both the games, they have lesser pitchers going. No, these next two games, you could honestly argue, are even tougher. Okay? It just, if you look at the numbers and you look at these next two starting pitchers coming up in Miller and Castillo, incredibly nasty pitchers. High 90s stuff, wipe out breaking balls. I mean, it's Yankees are in for a rough day. These next few games, possibly. If they thought today was tough with facing Boone, guess what? The next few days are possibly going to be even tougher. So stop with this crap of managing for the what's ahead and the days ahead. Because guess what? This is probably arguably the toughest series the Yankees have been in since coming off the Baltimore series. So you can't mess around. You got to take whatever game you can get. So you need to manage for today, and you need to win for today, and try and win out this game. And Aaron Boone clearly, obviously, wasn't doing that, and it's ridiculous because it just, that just shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. So yeah, I mean that's it. Yankees have 5 hits. Mariners had 10 hits. The Mariners, they just, they had clutch hitting from Luke Raley, their left fielder, who's been great. 306 batting average for him, especially the lefty-lefty matchup. He's 29 years old, has 4 home runs, 12 RBIs. He's been great. So they get the big hit from him. And then Dylan Moore, who I believe is their first baseman. Or no, he was first base. Now it says he's playing second base. He had a big home run to extend the lead, 6-3. He's been okay this year, 243 batting average, 6 home runs. I mean, you're looking up and down this Mariners lineup. I mean, they have, a couple great players, a star in Julio Rodriguez and J.P. Crawford, their shortstop, who was an all-star. He's struggling hitting a .194, but he had a hit tonight, 1 for 5. Their lineup doesn't jump out at you. Outside of their third baseman, Rojas has been great, and Rodriguez and Raley. Other than those 3 guys, really everybody else is pretty much struggling. You look in this lineup 1 through 9. Aside from those 3, it's nothing great. But look, I mean, their pitching is what's keeping them in games, and they put up enough runs in these first 2 games to win ball games because their pitching is excellent. So, I mean, this is a legit Mariners team that the Yankees have so far obviously been in a legitimate test for competing against. So, yeah, I mean, you kind of wish the Yankees could have put up a few more runs tonight other than 3 on the Torres home run. And look, we talked about Torres. Obviously, hopefully, huge home run tonight to get us back in the game, but then offense couldn't muster anything after that. But I mean, you want to look at the positive at least. I mean, the last 7 games for Gleyber Torres, he's hitting 280, has a home run that he did tonight, 7 hits total, 3 walks. So, yeah, I mean, overall, he's still struggling the last month. He's picked it up a little bit in 240, but last 15 games was at 226. So, I mean, you just hope that, he picks it up, and he woke up tonight, and you just kind of hope that he can get it going because we're going to need him in this lineup. I mean, you have Volpe, Soto, Judge, Verdugo. It would be nice to add Torres in that conversation for being a guy who can be a big contributor on offense. Stan as well. Stan didn't get the start tonight. Really don't know why. I know the Yankees like to give him rest days because he's injury prone, but the guy's raking. I understand sitting him, but not as much as they do right now. It's just becoming a little bit ridiculous because he's a DH, he's not even playing the field. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, you look at the Yankees lineup card tonight. Volpe was 1 for 4. Soto was 0 for 4, had 2 strikeouts. Judge was 0 for 3 with a walk and a strikeout. Verdugo was 1 for 4 with a strikeout. Rizzo was 0 for 3 Wells was 1 for 2. Trevino had a hit in one at bat. And then Torres, obviously, with the 3-run home run. That was basically the offense tonight. Cabrera started at third base, was 0 for 4. Grisham, 0 for 3. And yeah. All right, yeah, so that basically sums up for the game. Hopefully the Yankees can rebound tomorrow against Bryce Miller. He was a very good pitcher. Very darn good pitcher. Yeah. So I think tomorrow's going to be even tougher, but we'll see. Hopefully the offense can rebound and starting pitching can tighten up a little bit. So, yeah. I mean, but the thing I will add is some news updates. I posted a video about it earlier today on the Yankees on Deck Instagram and YouTube channel. But DJ LeMahieu is going to come back in one of the West Coast series, actually, in Anaheim. Aaron Boone said possibly next Tuesday, which is when the Yankees are in Anaheim. So that's like the target date right now that he's set to come back. And Aaron Boone also said on the Talking Yanks podcast that he will be the regular starting third baseman. So Oswaldo Cabrera, he will go to the bench. Someone actually brought up an interesting point today, saying it would be interesting to see if, maybe the Yankees should put LeMahieu at second base and, give Torres some rest or whatever. I think that's a possibility, but honestly, with Gleyber Torres in a walk year and the player he's been for this team, offensively, like he was last year and years past, I think the Yankees are just going to keep riding it out and hoping he comes out of it. I know Torres makes dumb mistakes in the field, mental mistakes, all that, but offensively, at least, I think they're going to keep him in the lineup, probably just still batting, seventh like he is. And then they'll probably bat LeMahieu sixth and play him at third, like Aaron Boone said, because, LeMahieu, they've been playing at third base the last few years because he is getting older in age. He is 35 now. And that's something that typically happens for older infielders, as they age, say they're at second or short, they usually will move to a corner position, whether it be third base or first base. LeMahieu also has gotten some time at first base, but Aaron Boone said on the Talking Yanks podcast that he will be the third base regular. And Cabrera, who is cooled off anyway, now hitting 248, he's going to go to the bench. And look, it's an upgrade. I know John Birdie has been kind of good the last few games, especially that White Sox series with the 3-run home run. But look, he's an older guy too, so he's primarily a bench bat. I mean, last year he hit 290 for the Marlins. He was great, but that was like his one really great year. Every other year he's kind of been up in the big leagues. He's been like really like average or slightly above average. So LeMahieu, when he's healthy, is still an upgrade. So the Yankees are going to start LeMahieu at third base starting next week, Tuesday in Anaheim, and hope that he's healthy. And when he is healthy, you look at the numbers, he is a really solid player. He's the DJ LeMahieu that we're used to seeing, a guy that can hit for a high average and get on base a lot and create some havoc in that leadoff spot, hitting wise. So and he can hold it down at third base. He's a decent defender at third base. He's better defensively, I'm pretty sure, than Waldo at third base. So it's an upgrade. I think if he's healthy. If he's not healthy, then it's a downgrade because DJ, when he's not right, it's, he's like a 250 hitter, 240, 250 hitter, which is actually at the par with what Cabrera is right now. But maybe John Birdie could get a little bit more out of him based on what we've seen lately. Who knows? So, yeah, I mean, that's it. And then also Garrett Cole threw like a simulated game for like an inning or two at Yankee Stadium today prior to tonight's game. And he threw 22 pitches. He faced, I believe it was Oswaldo Cabrera and one other guy. I forget the name. I think it was like John Birdie or something. And 22 pitches. He was up to 96 miles an hour. Actually, the report came out. Matt Blake had to tell him to like dial it down a bit, from 96. But otherwise, it was positive. And now the next steps are for him to, possibly get into a rehab game within, the coming weeks, possibly like next week or something, they were saying. So, yeah, I mean, that's it. So it's good. Hopefully it's nice to see that his velocity, is around that. You don't want him going out there and giving 100%, like, in rehab. Like, you want him to slowly build up. That's why, like, Matt Blake was telling him, like, hey, take it easy. Like, this is the first, dry run, building yourself up. But it at least tells you that his arm obviously feels good. He feels healthy. So that's huge. And next steps, obviously, pretty soon, our rehab starts. And then hopefully we can have him back, maybe late summer. I don't want to speculate, end of July, early August, maybe. So yeah, I mean, it'll be good, hopefully. And so it's good news, at least in the cold front on his pitching program and rehabbing. So yeah, that's about it for tonight's edition of the Yankees on Deck podcast. Trying to think if there's anything else to really cover. I don't really think so. It was really just, fortunately, and look, Clark had a good game. They were also saying too, I saw on the post game briefly before coming on Twitter, how he was saying a guy for the Mariners at second base, like caught his signs or something, or caught the signs that Clark Schmidt was receiving from the catcher and was really relaying it to the hitter. Look, all that's fair game. That happens. Do a better job at hiding your signs. That's all I got to say. If you're upset about that, I mean, you shouldn't. You just need to do a better job at hiding your signs. I mean, that's all fair game. That's nothing like, obviously, what the Astros did, which was literally installing cameras to pick up signs and also banging on a trash can to relay signs to the hitters. That's cheating. When you're on second base and anything in your peripheral vision that you can spot, whether it's from how the pitcher is setting up and whether he's tipping his pitches, or from the catcher. If the catcher's not doing a good job at hiding his signs and the runner notices that, he can relay that to the batter. That's all fair game. So do a better job. That's it. Really, no other explanation for that. Every major league team does that. The Yankees have done that. All 30 teams have done that because, guys are human. Look, they get sloppy. They forget to do a better job at hiding their signals, whether it be the pitcher or the catcher, or the pitcher will tip pitches, and the runners will pick it up. Baseball's a high awareness sport. You have to, have some IQ and situational awareness and what's going on and picking up things. So you just got to do a better job with that. Simple as that. That's it. Other than that, I mean, Clark Schmidt really wasn't that bad. We're really, honestly, it's only like an expectations thing. Like, we're so used to him and a lot of our other starters giving 5 or 6 shutout innings. But look, that's not life. That's not baseball. And honestly, he had a decent outing. He had a decent, solid outing, I would say. It wasn't perfect. He gave up 2 runs, but he did go 5 innings and had 6 strikeouts. Take that for what it is. If the offense could have put up a few more runs tonight, he probably gets to win. So, yeah, that's it. And the Yankees will go to the third game of this 4-game set tomorrow night, and hopefully they can avoid possibly losing the series again swept. That's it, guys. They lose 2 in a row. The Baltimore game got suspended. They were in St. Louis. It's tied there 1-1. I guess they will resume that tomorrow in like the 6th or 7th inning, wherever it left off. I believe it was like the bottom of the 6th or top of the 7th that it got suspended, I guess, due to weather. So, yeah, that's it. And the Yankees will try and rebound tomorrow. All right, guys. Have a great night, everybody. I will see you tomorrow, and let's go Yankees.